Ever wonder what commercial airline pilots do before takeoff? The task list is long. It includes reviewing the maintenance log, testing all flight systems, and deciding how much extra fuel to load, just in case taxi times lengthen or weather conditions force the aircraft to fly in a holding pattern or journey to an alternative airport. This last item is critical to the financial health of the airlines, since fuel represents 30% to 40% of their operational expenses. Today, pilots make the call on discretionary fuel based largely on their gut instincts, which are honed by years of flying. The new Plan Flight App made for iPad provides pilot with recommendations based on history and current circumstances, and then the pilot can adjust the recommendation. The Plan Flight App for iPad computes pilot adjustments in seconds. Fuel adds to the weight of the aircraft, so adding more fuel burns more fuel. The app shows pilots the impact of their decisions so they won't load unnecessary fuel, potentially saving the airlines millions of dollars per year. This is real-time analytics in the palm of the pilot's hand, enabling the shift from back-of-the-envelope guesswork to fact-based decision-making. Let me show you how it works. I log on by scanning my badge or entering my credentials depending on what's most convenient while I'm on the go. If my badge is currently packed away, I just type in my credentials. Once I've signed in, I notice that my next flight, YY123 from San Francisco SFO to New York JFK, is available for fuel planning, so I review the current fuel recommendations for this flight. Using my iPad, together with data mining, advanced software development, and machine-based learning from an analytics engine named Simon, the Plan Flight app for iPad shows me recommendations pulled together from an aggregation of multiple years of historical and current real-time data. Today, I'm seeing recommendations for flights like this one, an Airbus A320 flying from San Francisco SFO to New York JFK at 10:50 a.m. on a Saturday with 60% chance of rain. I look at the recommended amount of discretionary fuel for this flight as well as mission success, which is the airline's set target for flights like this one, helping ensure that the plane lands with the established amount of fuel to meet policy and regulatory compliance standards. This value is not 100% because there will always be the possibility for rare circumstances that arise which will require a flight to divert to an alternative airport, or when a pilot decides to safely land at the intended destination with just under the target amount of policy and regulatory fuel. Let's look at each discretionary category, beginning with alternate airport. Simon has recommended LaGuardia as my alternative airport, with 90% confidence that LaGuardia will hold up as an alternative if needed at my time of my arrival. Simon provides additional suitable alternative airports in order of distance, with the closest in terms of nautical miles listed first. I feel good about the LaGuardia recommendation and decide not to make any changes. I select LaGuardia and apply. Let's look at taxi next. I noticed that the confidence is at 78% for this category. Given the weather and runway congestion here at SFO, I'm concerned about the amount of time we may be away from the gate on the tarmac. I adjust the fuel for additional taxi time. As I adjust to 45 minutes of discretionary fuel, the confidence level goes up to 95%. It also calculates the incremental cost to carry the additional taxi fuel beyond Simon's initial recommendation. I apply this decision and am taken back to the discretionary fuel dashboard. There I see an orange flag on the taxi box that indicates that I have made an adjustment to Simon's recommendation. Let's look at ATC next. Simon has recommended no additional ATC fuel for this flight. However, I know that the airport will be dealing with dignitaries arriving on private planes today at New York JFK. And so in the event that I get placed in a short holding pattern over New York JFK, I adjust the ATC time to 10 minutes. Simon calculates the additional cost to carry ATC fuel beyond Simon's recommendation. I apply this decision and am taken back to the discretionary fuel dashboard, where a new orange flag appears in the top right corner of the ATC box. Finally, let's look at my en route weather fuel. I've studied the weather maps for my route, and I've seen some weather that we will head into soon after we take off from San Francisco SFO. I plan to fly around this bad weather and want to account for that in my discretionary fuel decision by adding a detour. Based on the forecast, I believe that my detour will start 30 minutes into my flight. And it will require flying 20 nautical miles around the weather and climbing another 2,000 feet. Finally, I set this detour to last 1 hour. Simon computes the amount of fuel needed for my detour, including the carry cost for that fuel as well as the delay minutes associated with my detour. I don't foresee any additional detours, so I apply my decision and take him back to the discretionary fuel dashboard, where an orange flag on the en route weather box indicates that I have made an adjustment to the discretionary fuel load. These changes are automatically fed to Flight Dispatch for completion of the flight plan, and Fuel Team receive the final load for fueling the flight. You have to see the power of deep analytics and automated workflows at my fingertips using the new Plan Flight app on iPad.